Good morning, folks. Everything new under the sun. It's going to be a quick one. The SHTF has really started occurring in Europe, and I think we will start seeing it in North America soon enough. There's always a delay, but at this point, I'm surprised people aren't panicking in Europe, and maybe they are. I know that a lot of people are scrambling to get firewood, and governments are coming down on them and putting mandates in and putting laws in to prevent people just from pillaging any sort of forest that is there. And in Poland, they're burning everything and anything they can find to stay warm, and winter hasn't even started yet. In the UK, they're already planning on blackouts during the winter. So this is incredible to me. National Grid unveils plan for 3-hour blackouts this winter. And things aren't even bad yet, people. The stuff has hit the fan. And if you don't realize that, this is the beginning. It gets worse. And what happens, even I'm going to read in the next article about the natural gas that they've stored up in preparation for this winter in Europe. But what happens when that is gone? The Nord Stream pipeline is not coming back. The war in Ukraine is not going away. Energy troubles will continue. And we will start to see this in North America too. Russia's invasion of Ukraine has jeopardized Europe's energy security as countries scrambling to secure additional gas supplies. Households and businesses across the UK could face a planned power cuts this winter if the country is unable to import electricity supplies from Europe. The National Grid has warned. The utility company responsible for distribution of energy unveiled this plan to ration supplies. We're in wartime. They're rationing supplies of energy now. Incredible. As the UK struggles to secure enough gas imports to fuel its gas-fired power plants. So all their power plants, electricity, are fueled by gas, or a lot of them. Europe is currently gripped in a major fossil fuel energy crisis triggered by Russia's tightening of gas flows to the continent as retaliation for sanctions over the whole war in Ukraine. Over the past few months, fears have grown that Vladimir Putin will completely turn off taps to Europe, which has led to the National Grid prepare emergency measures should it fail to get a hold of energy supplies. And absolutely, that is the case. Experts, Europe faces unprecedented risk of gas shortage. Europe faces unprecedented risk to its natural gas supplies this winter after Russia cut off most pipeline shipments. It says the European Union's 27 countries would need to reduce natural gas use by 13% over the winter in case of complete Russian cutoff amid the war in Ukraine. Now, who's gonna bear the major burden of that? Of course, the consumer. Much of the cutback would come from consumer behavior, such as turning down thermostats. And what will they do if you don't turn your thermostat down? They'll take you to jail. They'll charge you. They'll fine you. Stuff has hit the fan, folks, when the government starts mandating the temperature you can set your thermostat to. And again, if people don't realize the dictatorships, the world government that we're falling into very, very quickly, where governments are going into and doing this incredible stuff, you need to wake up and open your eyes. And adjusting boiler temperatures as well as industrial and utility conservation. The EU on Friday agreed to mandate a reduction in electricity consumption by 5% during peak hours. In Europe, they are now being ruled like a dictatorship, mandating power consumption, mandating everything you do at that point. They're going to limit and ration gasoline supplies in your car as well. No doubt that is coming. They're doing it for electricity, etc. As we head into a world government which will take all your freedom away, all your national sovereignty away in the name of saving people, in the name of public health and safety and conserving energy because of the war. Now, doesn't this sound like a great stepping stone, a great setup for an antichrist figure to come into power and say, I'm going to save you from all this stuff, and I'm going to provide you electricity, I'm going to provide you food when you're down and out, when you're desperate. During this time, all you need to do is give up your own personal sovereignty, your own freedoms, give them up to me. They'll laugh. They've given up everything else. They've given up the freedom to heat their house, the freedom to use as much gasoline as they want. Now just give up your personal freedom and put this mark of the beast in your right hand or your forehead, and I will provide food and energy for your needs. That's what the Bible says is coming in the last days. The EU has already filled storage to 88% ahead of its goal of 80% before winter. The IEA assumed 90% would be needed in its Russian gas cutoff scenario. Russian gas is effectively cut off with the explosions in the pipelines now. That is the case. This article is October 3rd, 2022. So they are looking to fill it to 88% ahead of 80% goal before winter. And that's just for this winter. What does it get drawn down to? What's going to happen next winter? Is Russia all of a sudden going to start producing gas? Are they going to come up with some more pipelines to get natural gas and gasoline and diesel, etc., over to Europe over the next year? These things take a long time to wind up. That's not going to happen. We are ready to face this winter, she told France's lower house of parliament. This was the French Prime Minister Elizabeth Borne Monday, playing down the concerns of gas shortages. Of course, the government's going to play it down, reiterating her government's drive for energy saving. So they're not talking about what to do to get more energy. They're just talking about now saving, also known as mandating cuts in your usage, your consumer usage. Bourne added there are no risks of energy cuts in the coming months if everyone plays their parts. You won't be locked down if everybody plays their part and gets, during the lockdowns and over the last couple of years. If everybody plays their part. But you know what happened then? They locked people down anyways. It didn't matter whether you got the in your arm or not. They locked everything down, and the restrictions were on everybody. Since Russia halted gas supplies this month through the Nord Stream 1 pipeline running under the Baltic to Germany, it and the parallel Nord Stream 2, built but never operated after Germany refused to certify it, were damaged in underwater explosions that European governments say are sabotage. And it's pretty much common knowledge now that this is effectively the UK and the US, specifically the US doing it themselves, flying planes over from North America. Incredible that they apparently, well, they didn't get away with it because Russia knows what's happening. They're not stupid. And I'm sure Russia is biding its time. And when will the retaliation be for that explosion, which took out a lot of Russia's potential revenue there? There's going to be retaliation, and we don't know what that will be. What's the next big thing to hit? Demand for liquefied gas has driven up prices and tightened supply to the extent that poorer countries in Asia cannot afford it. So now you have countries like Bangladesh and Pakistan facing even more rolling blackouts, and there's going to be more civil unrest and troubles in their population and collapse of their economies because they can't afford now the supply and demand price hiking of liquefied natural gas. So, of course, always the poorest people get hit first, the poorest people in the poorest countries, and then the middle-class consumers get hit and are mandated to turn down their thermostats and limit their use. And this is what happened, of course, during the last couple of years, too, with the mandates and the lockdowns. It's the individual, you and I, who got locked down, who lost the most from this big. If you have lots of money, if you're a big corporation, well, you get to keep going. So stuff has hit the fan in Europe, and if you don't believe so, go watch Survival Lily, just for one example of what's actually happening over in Europe. And if people aren't panicking, they really should be behind the scenes. Although, you obviously shouldn't panic, but you should get prepared. But if they weren't prepared already, they may be well behind the 8 ball in order of getting prepared now. This is coming to North America as gas and liquefied natural gas prices increase, as civil unrest increases, as the emergency increases in Europe related to gas supplies and the cold winter that's coming. You know that they're North America is probably going to start shipping firewood over there. Who knows? A lot of lumber does go over to Europe as well, shipped over there. So firewood, any sort of fuel, liquefied natural gas, diesel, gasoline is all going to be going shipping over there and increasing our prices even further. So we are still sheltered at this point, but as Europe continues to devolve into madness and chaos and mandates for energy usage and mandates over all of your life, you know that in North America we're going to start seeing that too. Folks, be prepared. Get prepared now before because we see it happening in Europe. It's coming to North America sooner than you think. Be prepared, folks. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.